That's gonna be great.
Okay, that's all we got time for today.
Hey, thanks for joining us here. Squeeze on in.
Oh, I can't.
I'll
This
fix
thing's-
it.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh, he's already gone.
Oh, it's
Gotcha.
already. I'm sorry.
No, he's gonna fix it there. It's just the Father Chase touch.
Gotta get it right. Here we go.
There it is. There it is.
Is anybody even watching?
We got comments. Oh, of course.
All right.
Of course.
All right.
Can't read
We're,
this.
we're settled.
Mom's
We're ready to
I don't
go.
have my computer, so
Oh yeah.
we're flying
Yeah,
blind today.
Flying blind. Because I got something else pulled up here. Yeah. So we were just talking about the nice weather, the possible 2 to 3 cigars for myself, and we're talking, yeah, however else you're gonna spend your Sunday afternoons. That's great. But you
I think I'll
know,
work.
it made me
But
think.
you still you doing
Well,
cigars?
yeah, you can work. It's Sunday. It's Lord's
Cigar
Day.
is the fire of the
Holy
Holy Spirit. The
That's
fire of
right.
the Holy Spirit comes
No,
through
it's
your
the
cigar.
incense to the temple of the body is what I always say. And don't you remember that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit? So the thing came to my mind though as I go jogging around campus. There's all these little potholes. I'm always afraid. I think the worst injury is like a broken ankle. Like you step into something and just cracks. And I don't know if that's
I don't know
one
if it's the
thing.
worst injury, but yes.
Well, to me, I feel like that's like the worst that could possibly
That's a
happen.
great.
Actually, what's the worst? Apparently, one of the worst things is someone having like a femur,
That would be
Right.
awful.
and we
And it
just
comes
got.
to the bone or to the skin.
Well, you just took it to another level.
That-
Yeah, right. Like
Don't-
protruding
don't
through
do
the
that
skin.
again. Either.
Yeah.
Don't do that again.
When your bone goes.
You just did something obscene.
no, it did not.
No. But
Oh,
the
shit.
reason I thought about this,
Fine.
right? Because they say that the femur is like the worst pain that you can have. And we just had somebody this morning, one of our alumni, just wrote and said someone in her family, I forget who it is, her father or somebody else fell and broke their femur. So prayers for
Well,
Nina
Then
and
there was
her
all
and her
the tumors,
family.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
It's
Well, the
actually-
finding of
yeah.
tumors, yeah.
It's not a
So
good situation.
anyway,
Oh right, yeah. And then it's like they were worse than childbirth, is what they say. We of course wouldn't be able to know or verify.
Yeah.
So
So I've heard.
childbirth
That's what we've
sounds
heard.
terrible, yeah.
yeah, it's terrible. Yeah. So so we're just have we had any injuries that we know of our sporting history or just broken bones or
I've
anything?
never broken a bone.
No broken bone. I haven't either actually. Have you?
I've broken, I think playing basketball, I broke a finger one time, broke a toe, that was like kicking a chair though, that wasn't in the sport.
In frustration.
Yeah, more than broken bones, I was actually, a lot of people ask, just since playing a lot of sports throughout the days, like what was the worst injury, and I was so blessed, I can't believe it, to not have like any terrible injuries, but probably the worst that I had was I did a terrible sprained ankle in my freshman year in college, and it was all kinds of colors and blown up, and I had to be on a cast, and not on a cast, but like a splint, and just walk around, kind of hobbled, and I was out for the rest of the season. Actually it was worse. As they say, sometimes a sprain can be worse than a break, and I think that was the case with this one. I wish I would have broke it and gotten over it, and but anyway, that was some other stuff.
Yeah.
We have some fun ones though that weren't
Fun.
just
Fun.
interesting ones. One, this like what's this thing that's like right underneath your like
lip.
top lip,
Oh.
and that little thing that holds your lip to your gums. That little like weird thing.
Oh, it's
yeah.
a little bridge
Sure
or
is a
something.
name.
Or whatever.
Yeah, you can like feel it with your tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing's
Yeah.
not attached anymore. I don't
Really?
they like rip. Yeah, somebody like elbowed me in the
Can you do any
face.
cool tricks with that?
Yeah.
No, it's just
Can you,
like
hide
dangling
a
there.
silver dollar up there or something? Like-
Yeah, tie a Jerry stand with
It's
Well,
just
that's
dangling
awesome.
around there. I
Okay.
don't know.
I mean,
You
It
just-
doesn't.
you
I don't
never
know
get
what
it
function
removed?
it actually serves.
You should
After all,
explore
it's
that.
broken, and I don't know that it works for anything. So
Oh.
anyway,
Wow.
so that was
Hard to keep
probably
the
my
mouth
most
shut.
interesting. Hard to keep the mouth shut. Well, that's why I preach so long.
I didn't say that. He did.
You were thinking
You're
it.
on the shorter side
He was
today.
thinking it.
Yeah,
I was.
Yeah, very proud of you.
Come Holy Spirit. Come Holy Spirit.
The Holy Spirit.
He answers prayers.
You're awful.
Shoot. No, I'm not. So
These guys decided to pray for me.
But I also think you were talking faster than normal, so I think you got that.
No.
yeah, he was really energetic. That's
It
true.
was really good.
Yeah.
A lot of
yes.
energy.
Holy
That's
Spirit.
awesome. Yep. Absolutely.
Actually, you stole my helmet for next weekend. I was going to talk about. I was like, dang it, he did it
Oh, he
again.
did.
We've talked about this before, where sometimes we'll be celebrating or something,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
the guy who's preaching is
Yeah.
like, and tomorrow we're going to hear about this. And you're like, well, that's what I was going to talk about tomorrow. Or,
right.
or I was thinking about next Sunday's Trinity Sunday, and I was thinking about how we're made for communion and how the Lord wants us into fellowship with Him and this and that. And so I was like,
So I'm sure you
okay.
can pick up right where
Well, I
I left off.
probably
in
could.
No,
part two.
maybe.
I might.
Part two,
I
yeah.
might. I might.
He
We'll
did
see.
manage to get. He got
But it was,
Ascension back in there.
Yes.
He got Pentecost in there, and he got Trinity in there.
It was a threefer.
It was, yeah.
No, it was good.
But
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
excellent.
I just-
but now
I was just
back to the
amused by
drawing
that.
board
I'm
for
like,
you.
it happens all the time. And people won't believe me.
I believe
They'll
you.
be like,
'Cause
no, you just stole that from Father Chase.
Oh,
No, he stole it from
No,
me. He just didn't know he stole it from me.
he didn't know it. I
It's
love
the Holy
that.
Spirit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Church's wisdom. It's gonna be said over and over.
Yep.
That's
amen.
right.
It's
In different
awesome.
ways, it is pretty cool. It's pretty
Good.
cool. Yeah.
So my worst injury, since I knew you were
Yes.
interested,
Yeah.
I
I
am.
was waiting.
I
had
am.
nothing to do with sports except it
That's
was an
all right.
aquatic activity. Fell off tubing and punctured a
Oh.
eardrum. I think in my left ear.
Oh
Oh.
my gosh, that was kind of
And
recent.
that didn't hurt. That part did not hurt. It just felt like there was water in the ear. But what you do not want to do when you have a punctured eardrum is pour hydrogen peroxide into your ear,
Ah.
because that is also a cure for to get that water out of your ear if you've got water in your ear. Yeah, that
And
was
you
not
did?
good.
When did that? When did that?
Actually, a friend did, and it was not good. So I had to go to the emergency room, and
I
yeah, my
remember
body
the
went into
story.
shock and
How
everything.
old
It was
were you?
bad.
Yeah,
This is like 3 years
recent.
ago or
Yeah,
something,
a
or
few years
5
ago. I remember.
Really?
5 years ago, yeah. I was at St. Matthew's still, so it was at least
Oh
6
my
years ago.
gosh. No, I
And
didn't
then,
know
because I
that at
remember
all.
that came up when the friend had that happen, and you said, "Don't
Yeah.
put hydrogen peroxide in there."
Is that why you have trouble hearing?
What's that?
Oh, oh, got it. The Zinga.
I think it's
He's
just
ready
ready
for
for
That's the over 40 years.
There's
Yeah,
that.
My
everything goes
gosh.
downhill. They say you're over the hill. That's true because everything goes downhill after that.
Mm,
Wow.
interesting.
Are we done yet, or we still got more?
Wait, hold on. Listen, you've been working for 3 minutes.
Have we run out the
You've
clock?
been, no, you've been here for 3 minutes.
Have you seen an injury yet?
I did.
Oh,
What?
Here's Johnny.
No, injury. An
injury.
injury.
Oh, I thought you said intro. I did. No, I have not said an injury yet.
Okay, let's get to it.
Well, all right. So my worst in the sense of the actual injury
Johnny.
did hurt.
Here's Johnny.
That's what, that was the injury.
Was it like the Johnny Carson "Here's Johnny"
No.
or the
Well, I don't know.
what was that movie?
yeah, that's what I thought you were going for.
Here's Johnny.
Yeah,
It's Johnny Carson,
Yeah.
but it's also a famous line
From The
in-
Shining.
Help me out, people.
The
What's
Shining.
The
The
Shining.
Shining,
Thank you.
yeah.
The Shining. Yeah. Jack
Just re-
Nicholson.
see, write that down.
Oh,
That's
that's
part
a-
of the,
that's
the
pro-
secret that everybody's got to figure out and find out for
Oh.
themselves. They can write down.
Oh.
But
So it
that's
was
a
one of those
freebie.
two though, and I'll
I'm
decide.
sorry.
I'll decide which one is correct.
Write it
Like,
down. Write
But
it
the
down.
It was a
the
good-
actual injury was one that it did not hurt, but the removal of the staples that
Oh.
had to come was the worst. So when I was in like 6th grade, we were doing basketball practice, and I was trying to dunk, and it didn't work. So I was going in for a layup / dunk, and I just like came down and kind of just tangled my own feet and fell back and slid. Fine, whatever. But I hit the corner of the cinder block wall right in the back of the head.
Oh.
And that didn't, I mean, it just kind of was a pressure. It didn't like hurt. And then I got up and I
Explains
started
a
to
lot,
feel
man.
all this. Thank you. It was it started to feel just this warmth on my neck. So I put my hand there and it just came out red.
This
There's a
one's-
little
Ooh,
warmth.
that feels
Oh,
good.
There's a
Oh my
little-
gosh.
And, it was blood. And so I went up to my, I'll never forget, I went up to my coach. I said, Coach, and I just held up my hand. He goes, oh my God. And so we looked at it and he opened up the hair, pulled the hair back and there was a gash.
Oh
So
my god.
called Dad and Mom and we went to the ER. And so the best solution then was to put 4 or 5 staples. And they actually insert it like a staple gun, like, and just, and then you could hear that. And so I felt that, but fine, whatever. So then I was able to go to my normal physician to get them removed. It was supposed to be no problem, they told me. So I went in after like a month or so of those closing up the wound, and he got the first one out. So he comes in with this little staple removal, like you have in your office.
Off the desk.
Yeah, off it.
Doesn't that just rip your skin?
And he pulled, no, well, the way that it worked, it just kind of went up against the skin, and then the first one came off, and then the second one, he's like yanking on my head, and then
my
the thing,
gosh.
the staple, I hear him go, oh, shoot. And he snapped the staple.
Oh no.
So then he went and got the
got
other
the piece
couple
pliers.
out. So then I had this two piece of a staple, and he was starting. Then he had to dig, and I was just screaming. It was pain. It was pain.
Dang.
Wow.
So
Actually, just as you were saying, wow, that's really warm. I was thinking that's another movie quote.
whoa, what is it? Oh, that's really warm.
Just go, man. Oh, that was
Boy.
really
I
warm.
don't know.
Oh, that's yeah. What movie is that in?
I'll just
Yeah.
give you a hint.
Yeah, I
They're
know.
driving on a scooter out to Colorado.
Oh yes, Dumb and Dumber.
I thought it was Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb
But
and Dumber.
Oh my gosh.
So
So
those
those are
up that line.
yeah,
Yeah.
also that classic 90s comedy or whatever that movie was. So, yeah, a couple minutes left here. I just wanted to see if we can't spark anything. Last night we had a nice dinner with us here in the rectory. Just it's actually Israeli themed. We had Father Lamped this time last year was in the Holy Land, and one a couple that he was with offered graciously, generously, to provide an Israeli themed meal from Michael's Catering. And so we were outside. It was a beautiful meal, and yeah, just enjoying that and time together. And then somehow a discussion came up that I can't believe we've never had before about the hierarchy of sport. And
Oh,
that was
my.
something that gets this guy going. And then I was just
Just
observing,
yeah.
and we're just like trying
Throw it
to,
out
because
there.
it really was something. And then one of
fair.
our brethren found this ranking, and it's an ESPN ranking of the sport. How is it? The degree of difficulty.
And ESPN is an authority on sports, right? Can we agree on that?
Oh, we just have to see who wrote the article too.
Well,
and what is the context of
See,
the
it's
article?
already going.
ESPN.
It's
It is-
ESPN.
It's Eternal
It's
Sports
published
Network.
on ESPN.
No,
And by the way, I'm not really standing up for ESPN these days, and I'll just leave it at that.
Well,
okay, well that could be fair enough, but their knowledge of sport, I mean, seems to
Let's
be
just hear it.
universal.
Let's
It's
just
going to
hear
be
it.
an objective.
That's
So
what the
here-
people decide. You know, people have consciences. You know,
They do. They have freedom. Okay,
freedom to decide.
so there's a certain category, and we're trying to find out just where soccer might fall, or baseball, or things like that, right? Of the goodness and degree of difficulty of sport. Now, the few categories we have: endurance, strength, power, speed, agility, flexibility, nerve, right, which is like how to perform under pressure, durability, hand-eye coordination, right, and then that comes up with a total of point, right? So the first one is boxing.
Incredible.
All right, which is incredible, right? So all those things that I just listed off, boxing ends up with the most of those points. So ranking number 1. All right, then you go to ice hockey, which I'm a
Oh, it's
fan
a
of,
pretty close second.
which
yeah.
I love. It's a close second.
Yeah.
Less than 1 full point behind is ice hockey. Then you have football, basketball, wrestling, martial arts, tennis. You notice I'm offering a lot of sports and haven't mentioned the
Certain
few
sport.
certain ones yet. Then we have gymnastics.
Yeah.
Gymnastics, which you can see, like the floor routine and everything. That's
What number are we on now?
1, 2, 3.
It's
Oh
right
yeah,
there.
there it is. Thank you. That was 7 or 8. Gymnastics is 8. Coming in at number 9 is baseball and softball.
Wow.
Yep. And in terms of all those categories, and then behind baseball with
Number 10.
on the list, soccer.
Wow.
So when we found that
was
out from this
crazy.
objective source, it stirred some conversation. So
Who is the source?
ESPN.
ESPN. That's
It's a-
Is there a
little-
writer? Is there some? I mean, people write for ESPN, or like, is this somebody submitted an article?
Nope.
Is it bibliography? Yeah.
No, there's not.
That doesn't.
We size them up. We measure them top to bottom. I'm
It
just
doesn't
reading.
even look like an ESPN art. Like, look at how.
ESPN.com.
But
Anyway,
sports skills. Okay, so that's
Anyway.
that's what it is.
I just want to ask the people, where are the better athletes?
baseball.
Are the best athletes playing baseball? Or are the best athletes playing soccer? That's what I want to know.
Wow.
I just and
Best
now this
athletes,
is no
good
this
athletes,
is
like-
what I want to this is what I have to say about that is that baseball is probably includes one of the hardest skills in all of sport, which is hitting a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, and like that's probably one of the hardest things that anybody can do. I'm not taking that away. I'm just talking about athletes,
Mm-hmm.
and there's some incredible athletes playing baseball. Don't get me wrong, but
I won't. Mm-hmm.
it takes endurance, it takes speed, it
I think you
takes.
said enough.
I think
okay,
that's good.
we said enough. I'm just gonna say. I'm just gonna say.
I think, but this is.
Let the people decide.
So-
I want to hear people's comments.
I think we made our point.
Yeah, I know. Well, I would say yes because.
Well, what would you guys say? I mean,
So
you're reading
how-
an article, but you're not opining.
Well, according to some, it's not a real article. but I'm reading what's in
I
front of
haven't
me.
even read the article. I've just
Well,
heard you guys talk about
Okay.
it.
Okay,
Okay,
so
let's calm down, folks.
okay, so
we
here we
gotta,
are.
we gotta live together.
We'll be fine.
I would
Okay.
just be careful what you're drinking from now on.
Sorry. So
Oh,
my
shit.
my argument, just as one that has, played both soccer and baseball, at different degrees of level. My soccer career ended in grade school, and then baseball in high school. But my argument is that of all those categories with endurance, strength, power, it's not about we're the better athletes, because in order for someone to be successful in the game, there's a skill and athleticism that comes together. So somebody that, has to put all the time and energy into one thing. So your skill and athleticism came together for soccer after you decided that's all my energy's there. In high school, I decided all my energy is going to be into baseball. So that developed what is the skill for baseball. Now, in terms of could I flop and from maybe like sophomore year of high school, stop baseball and put all my energy into soccer and be okay? Maybe. Back in my athletic days. Could soccer players stop and put all the energy into baseball and be as successful in baseball? I don't know, maybe. I'd say no. But
But it doesn't tell you who's the better athlete or which, like, if I put you out there on a field of skilled athletes, like you
yes.
wouldn't. I mean, you're talking about what kind of skill do you have to have? What level of skill? Like,
Yes.
yeah, you can go out there and run around, but not do anything. But
But I would touch the
mean anything.
ball. I would have.
Here's the other thing.
I haven't
Here's the other
touched.
thing about
You've
baseball.
seen.
I'm just saying that soccer and other sports. I'm not just exclusively saying soccer. I'd put several sports above baseball for the fact that and there are, right, but
There are.
soccer is a nonstop sport. It's continuous.
See,
It's something
that's the
that
thing.
needs skill at every
stop.
moment, and it just doesn't
It is
stop.
really,
Whereas baseball,
that's
it's this. I think that this ranking, if I were to ask the person who wrote it, and we still don't know who that
But
is,
you
if we were to
get
ask
off
that
of
person,
it. Get over it.
I want sources.
I'll send it to you right now.
But I'm also thinking that if they're basing this on the most difficult thing to do, they're basing that off one activity in baseball, which is hitting.
No,
Right?
that's not.
Like-
How do you
like
know
what
that?
else?
You don't know
What-
that. You don't know that they're basing it off of hitting.
Well, I'm saying
don't
that's
know what
that's
they're
what I believe.
basing
That is the difficult thing in
Sure.
baseball. Everything else,
Oh.
right? You could you could put a soccer player
Oh,
out
I
there and do
think-
everything else in baseball.
I think that
No, you
baseball.
couldn't.
I think that
No, you
baseball.
couldn't.
coming
No, you
out
couldn't.
Off
You
the
couldn't.
100-mile-an-hour
Yes,
pitch gets
you
hit.
couldn't. You couldn't.
to the first
If
base.
I threw you, if I
Can't
threw
let
you,
reflexes.
if I
Can't
threw
let
you in left
reflexes.
field, all right, and you are
it's a lot harder
you're
than it looks.
responsible to
Yeah.
cover the gap as the ball's hit there,
Yeah.
and you're taking the right angle, you're getting your body. You couldn't just do that and then be able to get the ball back in where it's supposed to be.
I mean,
If I
and
put
you
you on a
could-
soccer field, you wouldn't even know where to run.
I would too, towards my goal. I would just get the ball,
If the ball
and
goes
run to the
if
net.
the ball goes to the gap, I'm going to catch it. Like, right? Like, it does take
No,
skill
no,
to
no.
turn
to
your
catch
body
it,
and
but
run.
actually to catch.
But what
it
if
well.
you're the second baseman and the ball's hitting the gap in the left field? Where do you go? You got to learn all that, and you got to be able to put yourself in the spot to be part of the relay and da
Yeah,
da.
I think it's a lot quicker than we think. Well, I mean, like, I really think.
I think the people have
This whole-
decided.
this whole-
I think we've
I
given
bet
them
not. I
enough.
can't wait to
we've
read
given
it,
them
but-
enough information
You just
to
have to
make
look
an
at-
informed decision and stake their claim.
Here we go.
Well, I was just going to bring up
Yeah.
Michael Jordan, right? Who
Ooh.
went from the basketball and is a great athlete, right?
Mhm,
Goes from basketball to playing baseball. It was not an easy transition. They say he would have made the transition, but
It wasn't an easy transition to hitting.
to anything,
Fielding. Did you see him on the field? He looked goofy.
yeah.
That's because he's 6'6" and skinny.
Well, well. What you said? Like baseball players are like 5'5" and fat.
no, I just said he. Well, let's just,
Oh no!
let's just
Oh no!
let's just stop.
Okay,
there.
yeah, that's good. So we're.
My
I'm
other
anxious
argument
to-
is that if you can like
I'm
use
anxious to
tobacco
do this.
products while you're playing, like, I mean, seriously, like, you can have a lip in while you're standing around. I mean, it's amazing, right? You can't do that in soccer, nor in boxing.
Good. I'm boxing.
Well, boxing is number one.
Got smacked out. Yeah. Anyways, the bottom of the list, in case we're
Yeah,
curious,
that
they had
would be,
60.
what's the bottom
The
three?
very last is shooting, which it just says shooting. I don't know what that. Billiards and fishing. So unfortunately, golf comes in at 51. I disagree with that. I think you need a lot of all these things. in
Yeah,
golf.
that's interesting that golf.
You know, is 51 below table tennis, track and field, weights, kayak, and horse racing. Ooh, horse racing. So, anyways, it's an interesting,
Horse racing.
objective article.
There
that
you
can
go.
Look at. So
These are the things that we debate as we sit around
As we
on
sit
Saturday
around.
nights,
Yeah.
dreaming about Pentecost.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Hopefully, we'll all be enlightened today. We're gonna see your comments to see if you.
Yeah, I want to see what y'all think, and then we
Yeah.
can come back to it if need be. But hey, thanks y'all for joining us for yet another 6 Feet Apart on this Pentecost Sunday. Stay plugged in with all the new changes that, as was mentioned at Mass, keep coming at us. Time for prayer in the chapel. Hopefully next weekend we'll see about being back in our beloved St. John's Chapel for Mass, and yeah. So praying for you. Stay healthy and safe. We'll see you next week. God bless you.
Can I end on a different note? He
Oh.
just ended, but I got a text here. I
Bye.
think it's worth. All right, bye.
No. What is it? What is it?
I got a text that says,
Oh,
"Everyone always gives you crap for really washing your hands at the altar, but with a global pandemic, jokes on them."
Stop it. Who sent that?
I'm
There's
just
no
saying.
Soap. There's no soap.
They're
These
just
people,
saying.
It's just water.
First of all, yeah, okay, that's for next week because I got some things to say about that when I almost slip and die on,
Exactly.
on the puddle
No,
that's
seriously.
on that.
There's
Oh,
a bigger
my.
one. There is.
Oh my
Maybe you need a
gosh.
little bit more agility and strength. We'll see y'all.